Collaboration is front and centre. You can use an app such as Evernote to brainstorm and gain agreement around key issues. They can storyboard concepts using paper as an example. And one of the things that I like to call out is the form factor of iPad versus a traditional notebook computer helps enhance that collaborative. It's very easy to pass around, very easy to share. When I've gone into classrooms, even where every student has their own iPad, often you might see a couple of students working together. They'll put one of the iPads down and work together off the other one. It's a very, very collaborative form factor. They might, for example, build an animated timeline using Puppet Pals. We have a teacher in the UK, Sophie Post, who teaches Tudor history. She divides her class up into groups of students and gets them to analyse some of the key events during the course of the Tudor history. They then decide amongst themselves what parts they're going to play, how they're going to recreate those events and record it using Puppet Pals and play back their interpretation of that scene from history. Alternatively, they could write a children's book. Here's one starring our favourite superhero, Calcium Man, talking about the advantages of healthy food, put together using Book Creator. You'll see some of this in action later today with the work that ACS Hillingdon International School are doing and that they'll tell you about on stage shortly. And finally, creativity, something that Apple has always been renowned for. In this case, Bechtel, one of the world's largest engineering firms. They build things like the Channel Tunnel, the Hoover Dam, possibly the airport that you landed today if you flew in to join us. Often they're building things for the first time that it's ever been done. So they need to be creative about what they've done. But they need to be creative where they're building that dam, that airport. And iPad helps them work more creatively, solving big engineering challenges and literally building the future. Ultimately, a student's expression of their learning is going to be a creative project. If they can reteach or reinterpret a concept, we know that they are achieving higher order learning. And we believe there's no better creative platform than iPad and the creative apps such as iLife, iWork, and the many third-party apps that are available. In fact, we often challenge schools as to whether they are making full use of mobile technology and where and how does learning take place. With the iPad, the classroom can be anywhere, but creativity is still front and centre in that classroom. The students can express their ideas in different ways. For example, using Minecraft to build a book report. Here, a student built a Minecraft environment of what he considered the novel setting to be. And what he's doing here is tapping into creativity in what used to be an everyday assignment, just like those Bechtel engineers. Alternatively, they could record a public service announcement using 25,000 pictures in their voice, using Adobe Voice. They could use some of the 120 brushes in Procreate to paint a picture. Or even use music to illustrate a literary theme, using Figure by Propellerhead. And if you want to see creativity in action, take a visit to the science challenges later today. And you can see how you can learn from a teddy bear with a parachute. The variety of creative expression on iPad is enormous. The ability to creatively solve and express ideas in multiple ways with multiple audiences is a skill set that will only grow in demand. And we know that it's something that we value highly at Apple. So you've seen some of the skills that these organizations value and how they can be developed during the learning process, and some of the content that can be used to do this. And during the course of today, you will see how others are putting this into practice. But what resources are available to you to start doing this right across your institution? Well, I've talked about iBooks and the bookstore, and just now I've shared some of the great apps that are being used in creative ways in the classroom. And of course, there's always the commercial iTunes store, which has a wealth of documentaries, podcasts, music collections that many teachers are using in the classroom. But I want to talk briefly about iTunes U. iTunes U allows teachers to curate content from apps, from the bookstore, from the web, and of course, their own content. And with that, in a single place, they can build learning pathways to suit disparate learning styles and abilities of their students. And then they can create assignments and posts and notify their students of these new resources that are available. For example, they can link directly to a chapter in a book from the bookstore and ask them to read that. With the latest version of iTunes U on the iPad, we also brought in discussions. So students and their teachers can have discussions around particular assignments, around particular posts, or in fact the discussion could be an assignment in its own right. iTunes U is a great way to organise the learning experience for students and give them the context they need. And there's a wealth of public courses out there available, from great educators right across the globe. And you can use these courses, you can use them to teach in your own classrooms, you can use them as the base for creating your own courses. I've got a great example here from the Stephen Peirce Foundation of an iTunes U courses that they've created. There's a wealth of great content out there. And then in addition, academics, educators, curriculum experts have created their own iTunes U courses that include apps, books, and related content around some of the major standards across the world. So that's what we're doing with iTunes U, but how do we help teachers find the content that is relevant to them? We know that you want to be able to access all these different types of content in a way that is related to what you're actually doing, bringing them all together in a related fashion. So we organise content in two different ways. By year level or subject, as we've done here, or by topics and curriculum areas, so you can drill down and find all the content that you need relevant perhaps to the International Baccalaureate if that's what you're teaching to in your school. And this helps you build engaging learning experiences on iPad. In addition, we've created some discovery guides to help find the best of the content that is out there for you. And with that, we've, as I say, highlighted particular areas of content, but we've also got some suggestions as to how this could be used within a lesson. How do you use this particular iTunes U course, for example, to teach mathematics or biology? We've also created some iBooks that guide you through using particular apps, some of the most popular ones that you may be familiar with in the classroom. So here we've got one around Stop Motion Studio. And in fact, if you look there, it aligns with what I was talking about. I was talking about critical thinking, creativity, and collaboration. You can see there's your objective, there's your problem. Within the guide, the activities you need to go through, how you research it, how you present your solution back. So these are great guides, great resources to help you get started and reinforce what I was saying earlier about those key skills that are needed. So hopefully I've given you an overview of the great tools and content that are available to you to start using right across your institutions. I'm not going to be asking you to go outside now to experiment, but what we will be doing during the course of the day is you will have the opportunity to explore these possibilities that these tools bring. You'll have the opportunity to explore those yourself and also experience how others are reinventing the classroom with iPad. And also an opportunity to gain insights about how to deploy these devices broadly across your institution, and understanding the impact of the change that that brings about. So that's all I've got to say for the moment. I'm now going to invite Tricia Kelleher from the Stephen Peirce Foundation up onto stage to talk about the experience on her institution.